know that the inventor of the Pringles can is now buried in one? Fred Bohr, the creator of the Pringles packaging, was so proud of his invention that when he passed away, some of his ashes were actually placed in a Pringles can. Crazy, right? Like, pretty weird. I certainly wouldn't want to be placed in a Pringles can when I die. Now, these are the kind of things we get to know when we procrastinate. And I say we, because not only I procrastinate on a daily basis, but I did actually procrastinate in making this very speech on procrastination. Ironic, right? While I was supposed to be working on this weeks ago, I somehow ended up informing myself with useless information about the controversy around Beyoncé. Reading every conspiracy theory possible, watching every TikTok, going way too deep. I'm practically an expert now on the theme. Let's say I know Beyoncé more than the actual Jay-Z. But here's the thing. Procrastination isn't just about being lazy or indisciplined. It's actually all about feelings. Crazy, right? It turns out that procrastination is mostly emotional, where we're trying to avoid fear, stress, boredom, and maybe that overwhelming, oh no, I'll never get this done kind of feeling. So today, we're going to dive into some of the emotions that make us procrastinate. And even better, some ways to outsmart them. Because let's be real, if I could actually finish this speech, anyone can tackle their to-do list. So let's start with fear. As I like to call it, the drama queen. Now, fear is like that over-the-top friend who shows up uninvited and yells, "What if you fail? What if everyone thinks you're terrible?" Now, fear doesn't stop there. It has to take it to the next level. Now, what if you don't just fail? You fail so hard that everyone you know decides you're completely incompetent and your life spirals into ruin? Gee, thanks, fear. Really helpful stuff. This fear of failure is what convinces us to avoid even trying. So instead of starting that task, we end up scrolling through recipes for a lasagna we'll never make because that's easier than facing the possibility of not doing something perfectly. While I was writing this, I thought, what if it's not as funny or relatable as I want it to be? And in an instant, my brain whispered, "Hey, Danny, don't you feel like rewatching He's Not That Into You for the 11th time this week?" And I was like, It's a really good movie, though. And I was like, you got me there. And 3 Doritos later, as I like to say, I was preparing my snack to see it. But did that action help me get this speech done? Not even a little bit. I was actually letting my fear of messing it up run the show. Now, let's move on to overwhelm. Overwhelm is like, now, overwhelm doesn't yell like fear. No. It just sits there in the back of our mind saying, there's so much to do. So much. Where would you even start? You know what? Better not start at all. That's overwhelm. It's when we got so much in our brains that we don't even know where to start. Picture it. You're sitting down to study for an exam or tackle a big work project. and suddenly your brain is thinking of everything you have to do at once. It's like trying to eat an entire pizza in one bite. Or, more likely, you switch over to scroll over social media for a minute, which turns into an hour or two. Now, here's the trick with overwhelm. You don't have to eat the entire pizza in one bite. Really? Take one little slice. It might seem small, but small is significant. Start with just one part of the task, with one sentence. Clean one corner. Make one phone call. Once you've taken the first step, the next one's easier. And before you know it, the pizza is almost gone, I promise. And finally, we have self-doubt. As I like to call it, the sneaky critic. Now, self-doubt is like that friend who shows up right when you're feeling a tiny bit motivated and says, "Are you sure you're good enough to do this? I mean, look at all the ways you could mess this up." Self-doubt is stealthy. It doesn't shout. It whispers quietly and consistently until we're so full of self-doubt, we'd rather do anything but the task at hand. Ever started a project and then think, who am I kidding? I don't even know what I'm doing. And suddenly, you start scrolling Instagram, seeing people who seem to have their lives together, and say, wow, look at all these people. They're doing amazing things. And here am I, Googling how to finish something without losing my mind. Now, here's my favorite part about managing these emotions. What do we do about them? How do we manage fear, self-doubt, and overwhelm from ruining everything? One word: compassion. And I know you're thinking, oh, that sounds like a cheesy self-help book quote. But hear me out. Self-compassion is basically giving yourself a little love and understanding. Because if your best friends were feeling overwhelmed and doubting themselves, you wouldn't tell them to suck it up, right? Right? You'd say, it's okay, you're doing your best, keep on trying, take it one step at a time. Well, guess what? You deserve that too. So, in this sense, procrastination is a common experience that nearly everyone faces at some point. And despite our best intentions, it can be surprisingly easy to put off important tasks, often in favor of immediate but less meaningful distractions. Whether it's postponing a work project, a household chore, or studying for an exam, procrastination comes with a mix of self-doubt, overwhelm, and sometimes fear of failure. Knowing it's a shared human experience can help us feel less isolated in our struggles and more motivated to find strategies to actually overcome them. And last but not least, I am going to end with a cheesy self-help book quote, because I feel like I want to leave you with this quote. You may delay, but time will not. Benjamin Franklin. And I know you're thinking, what on earth? This girl just made an 8-minute speech about how 3 emotions can make us procrastinate, and now she's saying that time will not forgive me? But hear me out. Calm down. This quote can be a powerful motivator to focus on what truly matters and make the most of our time, rather than letting it slip away. It's a reminder to respect time, and see it as something beyond our control, unstoppable, unpredictable, and ultimately finite. So, the next time you're facing a task and you feel the emotions creeping in, stop and ask yourself, what am I actually feeling? Is it self-doubt? Is it overwhelm? Is it fear? Name the emotion first, then give yourself permission to start small. And if I mess up, so what? You're still making progress. Thank you.